Hello, everyone, and welcome to the winners bracket quarterfinals of the 2022 Galactic Pod Racing Tournament. Tonight we have Digital Unity versus kingbeandip, and it looks like they're going to be starting out with Fud Sang on, I believe, Howler Gorge. Um, Very excited for this match coming up. Joined by Lightning Pirate tonight. How's it going?
Hey there. Yeah, glad to be here.
So obviously a pretty funny, gentleman's agreement pick here. I assume they're just doing full track. We're not going to see anything goofy or anything more goofy. And looks like we're just waiting for the two players to confirm they're ready. And we'll get the countdown going shortly.
Okay, yeah, I was hoping for something fun like this between these two guys. I know Digital's obviously a huge fan of playing as Fudsang, and King Bean Dib is usually a pretty good sport about, these gentlemen's agreements. So it's good to see this kind of match.
Yeah, always good to see fun stuff.
Obviously, King Bean Dip is heavily favored to win here, um, but you never know what Digital Unity might have up his sleeve. I know it'd be pretty awesome to see him throw something at King Bean Dip where he's actually a little bit uncomfortable, which is rare.
Yeah, definitely. I was involved. I've been involved in a few of Digital Unity's prep sessions for this match. He's been working on some tracks, some combos, and and the voice calls on the Discord the last few nights. And he's definitely got some stuff up his sleeve. I am very. It's going to be fun. I'm eager to see what he wants to bring out. It's going to be hard to get King Bean on the back foot with anything. I mean, King Bean is he's proficient at skips. He's proficient at no upgrades, and not only proficient, but one of the best players at both those things. So,
And this looks like the official start.
indeed, get the sync in here real quick.
Like King Bean Dip staying left while Digital Unity crosses that terrain there.
Had the sync flip. Should be fixed momentarily here.
Oh, and that's a death for Digital in that little cave section.
Yeah, not the greatest start there. DU's traction looks awfully low.
Yeah, he's looking especially slippery. Can't quite read it at the quality we're at, but it looks like it could be 31 in the upper left. Oh, and that's a death from King Bean Dip
Wow.
in these ruins.
Yeah, that should enable DU to catch up. He's still somewhat behind. So King Bean obviously just having a good amount cleaner racing here.
Digital makes it through the tent as well, trailing behind just a little bit. Oh, but
Oh,
he slides into that deadly little lip there that I don't know why it's there.
yeah, that's a tough one. He just was careening side to side just a little too erratically, and yeah, that 10 exit is always a little sketchy on Howler. DU was not trailing by too much before that death, but now he's really got a chunky margin to make up, especially dying in that section is especially bad because you lose out on a lot of potential boost and heat usage in that hairpin section. Ooh, and DU getting a red engine here. We'll have to repair it, and he does so without incident, but that was kind of close there.
Yeah, he's barely keeping things together here as that. Oh, and an engine fire as well to top things off. And kingbeandip again dying into the ruins.
Wow, yeah, him and that ruin section are not getting along this evening.
Once again, giving hope to digital. His stream's looking a little stuttery on my end.
Likewise, hopefully that works itself out.
Oh,
Oh,
digital just
that is
losing
not.
percent there. And, ooh, this is not
Oh no.
good.
Oh no, the tent dance. Oh, backing up into the tent. Oh gosh. Cue the truck beeping sounds as
Yeah.
DU tries to reverse into the tent there. That is
Oh, and
not.
the same little fork there in the tent
Yeah,
shortcut.
that is not the tent that DU was looking for on lap 3 here. He really needed to be completely clean to have a chance, and now it looks like this is slipping away from him.
Oh, yeah, looking real rough. Rough. Though that backing into the tent, I've never seen that before. That's got to be a highlight.
Yeah, that's like probably an NBD for the tournament or any run in general. And it's not often you see the reverse function used just in general.
Although, I guess the safe way on the bumpy skips, that's the one use I can think of. But that'll be a 350 for King Bean Dip, and he wins the first race.
Yeah, tough first match for your DU. He showed some promise there, but just had a couple deaths where he needed to not die.
Closes out about 35 seconds behind. Thanks to mostly, I'd say that uh, bungled tent shortcut.
Yeah, DU had a chance if he had a clean tent there. Um, you know, he might have been slightly behind, but not by much. Did King Bean have a clean runes on lap 3?
I believe at
Yeah, it
least
looks like
one of
he
his
died
ruins.
twice. So yeah, I guess lap 3 he was clean, but
All right, our permabans have come in. Digital banning Grabvine Gateway, King Bean banning Mongaza Speedway, Digital banning Fire Mountain Rally, and King Bean banning Abyss, which I don't know. That would have been a good pick for DU.
yeah, a little surprised at that. Abyss is something that I know that DU is practicing. Um, it's certainly a track where perhaps players of slightly lesser skill have been able to take tracks off of more experienced opponents. But nevertheless, DU not feeling comfortable on it, he takes it out.
Seems his plans have been upset here just from the permabans already.
Yeah, I think. Um, yeah, I think DU was indeed thinking about Mongaza and Abyss, so that's going to be rough.
Yeah, those two tracks in particular seem to be uh, areas where the skill gap can be closed significantly.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing now that King being banned Abyss, not DU. Oh, King being reporting that his stream is stuck. Looks like it is.
Yeah, I don't see Andu Preem rotating in the background.
Nevertheless, King Beandip temp banning Doug Derby.
It looks like his stream might be catching up here.
And it looks like we're seeing DU going with Scrapper's Run, full track, no forces. Been banned, however, so.
Oh, there actually are two more additional pod bans here: Bull's Roar and Aldarbido.
Oh, true. Yeah, I did not see that force used.
Yeah, he snuck them in there. So, with no Ben, Bowles, or Aldar, what does that leave you?
Well, Mars is the obvious one, and I did see D practicing Mars on Scrappers. So this is one of the things he's been preparing over the last couple nights.
Okay.
Um, and Scrappers Run, I definitely like the strategy from DU because Scrappers Run is a track that at a high level depends on your heat patterns. And if you're not familiar with those heat patterns with a specific non-meta pod like Mars, then you're going to have a tough time. So DU's practice that, and yeah, we'll see if he's able to execute.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see King Bean try to adapt on the fly. I know usually it might take a little couple of warm-ups, maybe a quick peek at the stat sheets to spot that heat time, that total cooldown time, just so you can sort of on the fly figure it out.
Yeah, and we do see King Beandip thinking about Mars, which is, I mean, sorry, thinking about Elon Mac, which is an interesting turn here.
Okay. So we're going with a pod mismatch, it seems.
We'll consult the simulator here to see what the margin is between these pods. So Mars is estimated to be just, I mean, they're basically equal in terms of, what the simulator will tell you in terms of the raw speed capability of both of these pods. I gotta say, I think Mars has an advantage. I think DU is reading this correctly. I think Mars's heat is going to be easier to manage, and through the turns, just going to be sort of a simpler task.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can hold it together. You see if one of the possible hazards here is falling off the track because of the low fences, and also that notorious death wall there that you see that's striped in yellow and black. That's really difficult to navigate.
Yeah, DU was looking, pretty strong on this track in warm-ups on previous to today. I have seen him complete some really solid laps here, so hopefully he's able to get it together here.
All right, looks like our countdown should be coming in on the runner's end. And here we go. The players drop down here. This little conveyor is also a source of additional speed. Counts as fast terrain, giving each player plus 200 speed. And that's probably another reason that death wall is tricky, because you're not expecting to have that much more speed. So it's almost like it flings you into it.
Yeah, King Meandip cut one of those first turns super close, just narrowly avoided a death. And we see both players are pretty much neck and neck after lap one. King Meandip bonking, not losing any speed, but it will be a minor loss of time.
He's
Um,
looking impressively close so far. Digital even maybe have. Oh!
oh, ouch, that hurts.
And just as I was looking hopeful for Digital, it all falls apart.
Yeah, he was looking great there. I think his boost pattern was a little off compared to what he was doing in practice, and just didn't quite negotiate that turn.
However, King Bean Dip is known to die every track. And Digital falling off. Not good.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours, and King Bean is taking things somewhat more safely on this lap three here. Don't expect to see a death from him. Oh, literally as I say that,
Right on cue.
collides directly into the wall.
Wow, okay. And a bump.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but it's just not enough. King Bean
Yeah.
needed to die one more time.
203 versus 207.
If DU had
Wow.
not taken that second death, I don't know who would win. That was close.
Yeah, he could have had it between the pod mismatch and the one death that King Bean Dip has to get in.
Yeah, King Bean was prophetic in that he has, predicting a, a one death on every track this match. But just, you know, DU one upping him so far in terms of death count. So
Yeah, I think Digital definitely has a higher death per race. I think it's somewhere near 3, I want to say. Yeah, a little over 3 deaths per race. But I think he's on a downward trend, as you'd hope.
yeah, DU seems like he's having a little bit of issues with just noise in the background, which always makes things a little tougher when you're trying to focus and pod race. But yeah, hopefully he can just bring that death count down on this one, and we can really see what he's been what he's been preparing.
I'm sure my neighbors are complaining right now about me cranking up some pod racing right now.
You got to let it rip sometimes. Meanwhile, DU has temp banned Ben, and King Bean has responded with a temp ban of Doug Derby. And it looks like we will be going to Spice Mine Run. And this time, no forces, definitely. Full track. So expect to see a Bulls mirror here.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely an easier track. Um, should be seeing fewer deaths, but even at the highest levels, it's not going to be deathless or perfectly deathless, I should say.
Yeah, over a 4 minute track where you're really trying to cut time and the tunnels, which can get sketchy. It's rare to see a deathless race, even from a really good player. So
King Bean Dip trashing Toby Keith in the racer chat.
yeah, he did solicit a suggestion for some music to play to distract him to equal Digital Unity's background noise troubles, and I did suggest Toby Keith, and He's confirming that it's not going good for him listening to that, but we'll see if it's enough to give DU the edge here. And this is not something that I watched or was aware that DU had practiced. It's very, it's very well possible he did, and I just didn't see it. Um, but this is a combo where I think King Bean Dip has a more straightforward advantage. It's going to be a lot tougher for DU to best King Bean because this is a lot closer to King Bean's own game.
Yeah, it's not as off meta as we saw in that Scrappers run previously, but this is definitely still in King Bean Dip's wheelhouse. This expectation of going with the second best pod on each track.
Yeah, I don't want to say DU needs a miracle, but he's gonna have to have a really good race. Which, DU has it in him. Like when he's playing at the top of his game, he can certainly put in very respectable times. It's just about execution for him. It's about just clutching it out and not dying to, you know, uh, just silly stuff.
Yeah, I have to agree. Digital impressively knocked off, I believe it was 3 points off of Zelascalar, which was um,
No mean feat.
either,
Yeah,
yeah. Was that this year? Anyway,
it has happened. We'll take your word for it. King Dip is looking pretty solid in warm-ups here, but you never know what'll happen come race time.
so Digital has only used 1 force point so far. He still has 2 to use throughout the match. Seems to be maybe spreading them out, but he can't do that too much.
Right, they do decrease in power slightly as the match runs on, and fewer tracks remain in the pool. So it can be better to use them early on, but
Oh, an extremely early death from King Bean Dip.
wow, yeah, that's uncharacteristic even for him. That's gonna give DU a solid lead. Let's see if he can capitalize on it. Get this sink in here one sec.
Here's another instance of that conveyor fast terrain type, where the runners each get a 200 boost as they climb that uphill section.
Yeah, so you see both players not try to boost on that conveyor and use it afterwards in this, comparatively more dangerous section.
These corkscrew tunnels also, you want to... Oh, you see King Bean Dip there.
Wow.
Really trying to squeeze out a good line there. But with bowls, you're just... Oh, and Digital. Also having trouble at the transition to the market section, it looks like.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's not a place where you expect to die, and that's just what happens when you lose focus for a second. That's unfortunate because DU had a very commanding lead up to that point with King Bean Dip just taking aggressive lines through those corkscrews and paying the price.
Yeah, King Bean Dip breaking his own rule here, and he already has 2 deaths to Digital's 1 so far, so it's looking hopeful.
Yeah, DU is definitely still ahead. There's no doubt about it. Oh gosh, he's just taking that
Oof.
so close there, almost explodes.
Yeah, losing his boost though, and into the mine carts.
Yeah, that yeah. King Bean Dip retakes the lead. DU just not knowing where that minecart is going to be on lap two.
Real shame. But King Bean Dip, we saw before, really wants to squeeze out. You see him hugging that right side as much as possible and just barely avoiding those jagged edges.
Yeah, it's really tough if you're
Oh,
oh wow, King Bean Dip or yeah, taking a death nearly in the same spot where DU did the lap prior. Um, and as a result, both players having nearly identical lap two times, and they're both pretty much neck and neck here going into lap three.
I would not have expected this to be such a close race into lap three, but here we are. King Bean Dip racking up the deaths, especially in that corkscrew section.
Yeah, this is so close. Honestly, I really hope DU can clutch this one out and take it. And it's so tough in this spot for DU and for King Bean Dip, but just in this spot, you have no idea what the other player is doing, what's happened to them. You don't know. DU doesn't know that King Bean Dip has died, and neither does King Bean Dip.
Wait,
Ooh, King Bean Dip taking the death that DU took on lap two,
what is
hitting that
happening?
minecart on the left side. Oh my
No.
gosh, DU. Oh man, this
Oh,
is brutal. I think that death was slightly. Oh, oh gosh. Oh
pull
god.
it together, man.
Oh man. I think assuming Kiminit doesn't die again, he might have it here because I think through these last tunnels he's gonna have an advantage. But oh man, that is brutal. Yep. King Bean Dip manages to
Oh,
clutch it up barely. Oh god, that's tough. Do
to
you?
be so close.
Yeah. Do you had this in the bag? If only he had just died one less time. That's tough. Yeah, clearly the country music getting to King Bean Dip there with seven deaths by his own reporting. Oh man, that is tough.
Wow. I mean, digital coming that close to taking down King Bean Dip on not the craziest pick there is really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just it was a surprisingly great read from DU that King Bean Dip would have trouble in that track. Whether it was intentional or not, that was a very effective pick, and he just wasn't quite able to capitalize on it. And yeah, again, it's just so tough not knowing because if DU had any idea that King Bean had died that many times, you got to think he'd be able to clutch it out, but just not able to.
Yeah, that's really the unfortunate nature of this sort of in the blind sort of tournament style where the runners have no idea how their opponent's doing. So it's really just all in your own head.
But nevertheless, King Bean Dip has a 3-0 lead, which is a super tough spot to come back from for DU. DU does have one force point remaining, so he should be able to, you know, use one of these picks he's been cooking up. But yeah, we'll see.
I think he has two currently, but we might be seeing one incoming here.
Oh, right, because I forgot we were best of nine for a moment. He does have three force points total in the best of nine format, and he has used one.
Digital still deciding on a track here. But we saw similar bans to before, with Digital banning Ben Quadneris, King Bean Dip banning Doug Derby, and here's our selection.
Yep. DU taking us to boot training course, full track. And on top of that, he has used a force to ban bulls as well as Beto.
Okay, so back to the Mars versus Elon, perhaps?
Yeah, I guess that's basically what it's gonna be is sort of Mars, Elon, Mahonic in there too. Um, this is another one I don't know. I haven't seen DU practice this situation. I don't know what his pick is gonna be, but certainly all
See,
three of those pods are viable here.
see King Bean Dip already exposing his pick to Digital going with Mars, and then Digital now going with Elon. So they've traded, it seems.
Wow, yeah, that's funny. Just a reversal of scrappers. But let's see. I think maybe here Elon actually has the advantage in terms of potential, given that he's able to sort of slide around some of these corners more effectively. Mars has a slight advantage on paper in terms of speed, just like on scrappers, but in terms of just the characteristics of the pods, I think DU might have an advantage here, at least on paper or
Yeah,
in
it looks like
theory.
he's also going with the lower FPS strategy, which prioritizes more airtime than to maximize those straighter lines.
Yeah, doing the famous Hayudoro jump.
And then King Bean Dip, we see in practice at least not doing that. So we'll see how that evens out. Another strategy we see King Bean Dip employing is bringing an AI opponent along to help clear out rocks and also improve your beginning position because it'll shift you a little bit left. Looks like Digital back to Mars. And yeah, not looking very comfortable on that maneuver. It seems I've lost my co-commentator here. Hopefully he'll be rejoining me shortly.
And I'm back. Can you hear me, LP?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Not sure what happened. Internet went out momentarily. Oh, nice. We aren't even underway yet. DU switching to Mars before starting. Interesting.
Yeah, it seems he's sort of gone back on his decision there. But I'm really worried about how this Hyudoro jump strategy is going to go.
Yeah, I think with Mars, it's pretty tough to pull off. I don't know if he would even go for it. Or I'll just say, I hope he doesn't try to go for it. But he is a little bit.
We see him doing it fairly well.
Yeah, semi-effectively. Get the sink in here 1 sec.
And yeah, digital that raw king bean dip also taking out some rocks. And wait a second, I didn't see what happened to king bean dip, but he's finishing with about a second later lap time.
Yeah, maybe that high U jump really did save DU a big chunk of time, or he bonked and we just missed it. So DU having a bit higher heat there. We should see a shorter lap 2 time from him. Uh, oh, but actually King Bean having a better lap 2. That's quite surprising.
Yeah, it looks like the heat is definitely, yeah, he's tapping out there. And this is where it matters most because you want to try to get that engine fire right across that finish line.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough. Actually, the heat might be in DU's favor here. Oh, but not
Oh,
quite enough. Oh man, that was close. DU just lost that boost coming out of the cave. I think his heat was actually, I think he was actually better situated to take that until he bonked on the ground and lost that last boost there.
yeah. Still, I mean, look at that margin between two deathless runs, impressively.
Yeah, only 7/10 between them there.
All right. King Bean Dip now takes it 4-0. Match point. This is Digital's last chance to throw anything. He's got one force point remaining. He also has a run back. But let's see what he does with it. Currently discussing King Bean Dip's country music handicap.
Yeah, I think it should stay on, but we can't force him to. I guess it's not with quite within our jurisdiction as referees.
I'm gonna have to find a royalty-free Toby Keith song to play over the interviews here.
Yeah, it's kind of a tragic tale that's being spun here. The EU has come so close on so many races, and I mean it's a thing we end up saying a lot, but this match really has been closer than the score would lead you to believe.
Yeah, very impressive time difference that is far closer than you would expect between the rankings of these players. Oh, oh man. Oh.
Looks like, yep, the two of them are considering a gentleman's agreement for the last pick. Tossing around, ideas of various levels of ridiculousness. Yeah, this has been tough. I mean, like these picks that TU's had, like they really should they should have paid off for him. I wish they had because he prepared them and they basically worked, but just obviously didn't actually work.
Yeah, I mean, Spice Mine especially was such a heartbreaker to see it come that close. Um,
Yeah, I mean that was a stunner to see it even work, effectively.
but yeah,
And then within the match, just so many like back and forth, you know, stunners as well. But it looks like regardless, they will be doing a gentleman's agreement on Bunta Classic with no upgrades. And perhaps they will be doing a Sebulba versus Anakin match. Yeah, it looks like they will be.
yep. King Bean Dip throwing in the movie. Uh, yeah, what's the official name for this gentleman's agreement? It's like the the cannon race. Yeah,
Yeah.
unless of course Sabulba wins.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's really not clear what kind of turn the movie might have taken had Sebulba claimed victory in that race.
It could have all been upset from that moment. Wait, no one realizes just how pivotal the pod race scene actually was.
Yeah, quite like Qui-Gon was he had he had wagered quite a lot on that single race with which was clearly like wildly unpredictable based on the events that happened in it.
And as we see here today, it's still a, a very unpredictable sport.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's easy to say like, King Beandip's going to be up 4-0 in this match, but I don't think anyone could tell you exactly how it would have happened. Uh because, it very well could be 2-2 right now, if that.
Welcome to Watto's shop, huh? Take a look around. I got everything you need, huh?
Okay, it looks
So,
like the no upgrades are good on King Bean Dip's side and digitals as well.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
We want to
Oh,
make sure we have a completely fair race here.
yeah, looks like he's good.
Besides, of
Um,
course, the Sebulba versus Anakin difference.
right. Yeah, which is favorite on paper even? I don't even remember.
Um, since there are no upgrades, it's got to
Oh
be
yeah,
Sebulba by
yeah, of course.
far.
Yeah, yeah, right, with no upgrades. Clear advantage to Sebulba. Yeah, actually, I hadn't even thought about that. That really kind of spices this up because uh, DU's advantage is actually pretty hefty here.
Actually, yeah, that's crazy that wow, okay. Now it seems King Bean Dip has put him in a I mean put him in an extremely uh I don't I don't even know the word for it.
I mean, yeah, well, King Bean Dip's in a tight spot here. I mean, like the advantage for Sebulba compared to Anakin is 40 seconds. If you go by the simulator, that's 40 entire seconds. So, uh, you know, this is going to be this is going to be a tough one for DU to actually lose, I think.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't want to say King Bean Dip's giving this to him, but he's definitely setting him up for success. And
Yeah, I think in this version of the Star Wars universe, when Sebulba went into Watto's shop to sell his parts, he made some interesting deals with Qui-Gon to set himself up for victory instead of Anakin. But yeah, so Bulba's advantage here boils down to the fact that with no upgrades, he has by far the greatest top speed of any pod in the game.
And we see right out the gate, there's already a massive difference there, just in how Sebulba was able to cover that first stretch there.
Yeah, so Sebulba's basically his main advantage will be in, you know, as DU races cleanly, he will just slowly accumulate, base speed, which is like the speed you're traveling, without boosting and when nothing's going on. And if he is able to not bonk and lose that base speed, he will just travel, 100 units per hour faster than Anakin. So it's a massive advantage.
King Bean Dip cutting this sort of sandy area. Digital catching fire there. But he was... And also taunting.
Yeah, flame jet usage. You can
he's looking a little shaky.
Yeah, DU is bonking, so he is not able so far to realize that advantage. The second half of the track is a lot harder to bonk on or easier to not bonk on. So I think this should be where we see Sebulba really realize that advantage. But we'll see if DU is able to keep it clean here.
Yeah, I think we see it especially in the boosting, which you can't use too much of.
Oh, and that is the opposite of what DU needed. If he really needs to not die, because Sebulba's acceleration is not great. It takes a bit of time for him to accumulate that speed that he needs to win. And so King Bean Dip still ahead by a couple of seconds here.
Yeah, it's I mean, Digital already closing the gap with that booster though, which again he can't use too much of because of the heating and no upgrades. Excuse me, the cooling. But catching engine fire certainly doesn't help, and on that section as well.
Yeah, DU bonking again, and God, looking just having this rough time through that chicane there, but not dying. This is this is great. This is extremely close. This is entertaining.
Yeah, some might argue it's it is more it has more tense. Oh God, I can't speak today. It's I give up.
The match is finding really unexpected ways to have some tension in it for sure.
Tension, that was the word. Yeah, a lot of people argue that the actual pod race scene is somewhat tensionless, but here we see that is definitely not the case.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like DU is just bonking so much, but just in these straightaway sections, he's just catching up so fast. Oh, and King Bean Dip taking a death. That's costly on Anakin. I mean, that's gonna put DU ahead for sure.
Okay, we see King Bean Dip has met his quota, getting that one. That was his first death, correct?
Yes, that was his first.
Oh, Digital struggling in that.
Oh no,
middle.
and Sebulba's repair is just atrocious, so that's not gonna do me favors.
Did you see that?
Yeah, if you have your bingo cards open, not only can you mark down Flame Jet was used, but you can also mark went through the wheels of the Spice Crawler.
Okay. All right, Digital showing off. while repairing, no less.
This is just nuts.
I'm surprised
I
they
mean-
didn't have a moment like that in the movie where, you know, you have a Jawa crawler out there.
Right. I mean, going through it like that, that's not easy to do at any speed. And God, this left engine for DU is so sketchy. I mean, if he gets red, he will crash and explode. Oh gosh.
Yeah, always the chicane. But he makes it.
Okay, DU is far behind right now, but if he just races a little cleaner, he can still catch King Bean Dip. That is the, you know, the that is how big the disparity between these two pods is.
And he's maxing out the heat there on his boosting. Whereas Anakin's definitely doing a lot better heat-wise.
Yeah, Sebulba's cooldown rate it's like atrocious. I don't know exactly how bad it is. I know it's like greater than 20 seconds, I think.
He's looking really good through those arch sections.
Yeah, that arch section was what he needed. He just needs to keep it clean and somehow avoid damaging these engines any more than he has.
Yeah, into this back half, I'm really excited to see how Digital can close the gap here.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh, he keeps losing his speed in just terrible ways. Like, you know, hit the back half of his pod sliding into walls. That's like the best way to just lose the speed that you need. Avoids the crawler that time. That's huge.
Yeah, both of them barely. King Bean Dip looking for his exit here into the hut flats. And he's out. Digital still a considerable margin behind.
I think without that last bonk, DU could have had this without that last loss of speed. Because they're going to come in pretty close here, but just not enough. King Bean Dip takes it.
Still a very highlight-worthy match. A really awesome display of some nail-biter matchups and mismatch pods.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, as a commentator, I kind of look a little dimly on no upgrades, but that was really something. That was an incredible race there.
Yeah, that's what no upgrades is missing, is a massive handicap in the form of pod selection.
Yeah. Man, I care. Yeah, that's just too much for words. I'm gonna try and get these two in for interviews here. Oh, I guess we'll mark the winner here on our sheet. Hello, DU. That's a toughie, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
Hello, King Bean. Congrats. I mean, what a match! Like, I don't know. I can't. That was just extremely entertaining in so many ways, and it's something that we say a lot. Where, you know, the so much closer than the score looks like, but that was really just so many twists and turns.
That was such a weird
What
match.
even was the average difference between our times?
Well, the median difference was probably like 1 second or something like that. It was very low.
I think I can actually tell you the average difference between all your races was 8.8 seconds.
So,
Yep.
you know, 2 crashes.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, but also multiple races within, you know, like 2 seconds, right? You know.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing that's throwing that average off was probably the first race on Howler
And the
being
last race.
yeah, and then the last race.
Yeah.
Fair.
Actually, the last race was only a 5 second difference.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was quite close. Only 5 second difference.
Scrappers was very different. No, it wasn't. It was only
No,
4
Scrappers
seconds.
was
Never mind.
7. Wasn't Scrappers 7/10, or was that a different one?
No,
It was
it was
4
4
seconds. Yeah. But
Scrappers would have been mine if I didn't fall off the track because Mars doesn't like fences.
Yeah.
I'm mad at that. I did everything right. I followed all the rules. I even ate 37 black licorice jelly beans through a straw. Why can't I have the formula?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough. Without that second death, it was yours.
Oh,
I am really glad your neighbors turned off their music.
me too, man. That was obnoxious. It's like I come home, I want to have a nice, relaxing tournament match that I probably won't win, but I could at least take a couple points off of KBD during, and then I get tilted because I can't focus or hear myself think
Yeah.
over my neighbors.
Yeah, that's rough.
You gotta blare your sound of pod racing with some, Fud Sang screams kind of out there.
I could have. That would have been a hilarious decision. I'm gonna like turn my air conditioner back on because it's burning in here.
But yeah, it's definitely extremely tough. You can't get in the right headspace. That's unfortunate that you had those distractions. But kingbeandip compensating also with the bad country music blaring there as well.
That was very nice of you, KBD. You didn't have to do that.
You're welcome. It was.
I mean,
I made
evidently
so
it didn't
weird.
change the outcome at all, so...
Well, oh no, I got 4 deaths on Spice Mine. That's not normal.
Yeah, so that was actually something I wanted to.
Space Mine, I only got 2 and I still lost.
That was something I wanted to ask you about, DU, because that Spice Mine pick wasn't something that I saw you prepare, but it ended up being, I think, the single most effective pick in terms of, how King Beandip performed relative to how you would expect him to do. So yeah, I was wondering, how you landed on that one and, how it went for you.
It was supposed to be a comfort pick because I haven't run into that minecart in the last, 3 years, pretty much. And then suddenly I run into the minecart because I can't think.
That's what Turney does.
Yeah, that's Turney 100%, but
Goof can tell you all about that on the executioner.
Well, that's certainly true, but at the same time, I don't think being tilted over my neighbors was helping.
sure. But yeah,
I
King
really
Beandip.
don't think that helped matters.
Yeah.
I think that probably contributed heavily to me forgetting how to spice mine. And the HUD elements, this is something I've never experienced. I was so tilted that the HUD elements were aggravating me. They were taking up my peripheral vision and making me upset.
That's
Really?
That's never happened
not
before.
normal.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they were just bothering me. It was like I could see them, and it felt like they were just there to crowd the screen further. Because I think I was using Bowls is pretty big. Bowls takes up a lot of screen real estate, so the HUD elements taking up the rest of it was just bothering me.
Yeah, that's
I don't know, man.
definitely
I don't
tough if you can't focus. What happened to you there on Spice Mine, King Bean? I think you died. You said you died 4 times. Just
Mr.
turning nerves, or hadn't done it in a while, or how was that for you?
Yeah, I hadn't done it in a while, and focusing with Toby Keith going was really hard.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, I dropped to loser's bracket, but the good news is I expected this. I just didn't expect to be tilted for the first 3 races of my set of 5.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, watching it back, I mean, you might just see just how close you were to a victory here, off of which would have been, great, but the stars just seemingly didn't align here. But one highlight I gotta mention was in the back half of the Bunta Classic, you're getting damaged just a Bulba, you're trying to repair, and the Jawa crawler comes up, and what do?
I go under it.
Go right under it. Cleanly, too.
Cleanly. The
Nice.
smoothest, slickest thing I could have done. If nothing else, I am a performer in this game. I may suck
Exactly.
at it, but I put on a show.
Exactly. That's what we're here to do.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, that was amazing. I think that is the most tense no upgrades match that might have ever happened.
I should have taken Anakin because I would have slipped around less, and I would have at least been happy with my performance. Because whenever I
mean-
played the game no upgrades just for fun, I switched to Anakin on the last track, just to have fun. So I've got practice with that.
I mean,
I'm
do you
like-
know how large the advantage Sebulba has no upgrades on Boot to Classic is versus Anakin?
Oh, I'm sure I would have won that by the same margin that I lost it if I hadn't sucked at driving.
Well, the advantage on paper is 40 entire seconds.
40 entire seconds.
Correct.
But it never pans out that way.
It was just a matter of you had to keep your base speed up, and you just kept tragically bonking in all the worst places, and it was really tough to watch.
Yeah.
Another
I
tough.
think I shouldn't have forced no upgrades because I would have raced that better if I had traction, acceleration, repair, any of that to speak of.
I suggested no upgrades to give you that advantage, and that certainly made the race really close. It was within a few seconds on a 7-minute track.
Oh yeah. It did make it closer, but like I couldn't drive.
You only died twice on Boonta Classic, which is,
Was it twice or was it 3 times?
that's what you wrote. Oh
Did
no,
I-
you wrote twice.
Two? I must have counted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some heavy damage, but I think it was only
I
2
had some real
deaths.
bad bonks where I just ended up with no speed.
I
That's
can't
why
believe-
I died more.
Uh-huh. I can't believe the flame manipulation doesn't work with Anakin.
I don't think it works with Sebulba either.
Yeah, if Sebulba would be even worse.
I don't think that it worked. Which was a thing and a half.
And
Um,
the other highlight that I thought that LP was going to mention was DU when you went in reverse into the
Yes.
tent.
Thank you.
on Tyler George.
Yeah,
what?
That was pretty amazing.
on match 1, I missed the tent entrance and died, and I wanted to like turn around and go in it because I thought that I could just make that, but I couldn't do it. So I ended up reversing into it and turning around in the tunnel. It was like a 7.
Oh my good, what the? I'll need to see
oh,
that.
Boy.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
Like I said, if nothing else, I'm a performer. I'm fun to watch, but I'm so bad.
Hey, next time we can do reverse tracks, but the track isn't reverse. You just drive in reverse the
Try
whole time.
back. You could try it. Like, there's no boosting that way. Another force, by the way, a concept I had thought of as a force for next year is no boosting.
Oh boy,
Oh, that'd be hard to enforce, but
that would be weird.
Where you just unbind the button.
yeah.
You make sure that everybody
Hmm.
unbinds the button.
Oh boy.
That'd be a heck of a thing to watch.
I think Magius would kill in that mode. Like he would
Yep.
come out on
He
top.
honestly might. But definitely as far
Certainly
as
something you could gentlemen's.
weird forces
I-
to consider. As I drop the losers bracket here, I don't think that I'm going to make it too much further because, who else is in this tournament to lose except for the greatest players of all time?
Who are your potential matchups gonna be?
I don't know, but I'm most worried that Dom's gonna beat Metallica somewhere along the way, and then I'm just gonna have to deal with that.
Okay, looks like it would be either Crypto or Goof or Zaleskla or Magius.
2 of those I have a chance in. The other 2 I die.
I think that your
Oh wait, no. Probably
yeah.
Zaleskla.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think your most likely opponent will be Zelaskalar, and
Nice knowing you, folks.
and I'd say that's one don't sell yourself short on because I think based on a lot of the stuff we saw today, like literally, I think you stand a super solid chance against Zelaskalar. So, go into that with the same.
KBD, you absolute jerk. You
What?
permabanned Abyss. That was on my strategy. I was
I saw it
planning for
coming.
that. Oh, I had
didn't-
strategized to pull Abyss skips. I was getting real good at it, and then you just
Oh man,
permabanned it.
I
And then
just-
twice you soft banned my other strat, which was Doug Derby.
I just didn't want to deal with anything ridiculous in this match.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
well,
You're
despite
already dealing with me. Isn't that ridiculous enough?
yeah, I think despite your best efforts, we saw plenty of ridiculous stuff
Yep.
this match. So
Yep.
Honestly,
That's
when you're
true.
dealing with me, you may as well embrace ridiculous things. It's
Mhm.
it's gonna happen no matter what you do. You can dread it, run from it. Destiny still arrives.
indeed.
I think that was the first time that both you guys went to the Bunta Classic with no upgrades, right?
That might be.
It looks like it. It looks like
And I'm
King
pretty
Bee-
sure. And I'm
You
pretty
got
sure
the-
that's the first time that Anakin and Sebulba have been used their no upgrades.
Okay, and it looks like you might have also gotten the tourney record there,
Oh
unconfirmed.
boy. uh,
Just keep giving this man more things.
Well, it's a not often
Wait.
picked combo.
that's never been done. No upgrades. Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
Magius, what are you waiting for?
Today is an historic day. Oh boy, I'm glad that if I was embarrassing, was I that embarrassing or was that a good performance?
No, it was impressive.
was
We
pretty
were
good.
really shocked to see just the difference, and like I said, the stars just didn't quite align for you, but it's still impressive nonetheless.
I had a shot, but at least I
You
looked
did.
like I had a shot this time. That's a far cry from what, the 2020 tournament? What was the first one I entered? 2020, 2019?
22. I don't think you were in the very first tournament. Wait, were you?
I don't
Were
know.
you in the 20th anniversary tournament?
I think I might have been.
I'm not seeing him in there.
Okay, maybe not.
Let's see, your first appearance
When did I start doing this to myself?
was in 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I was there.
Well, not the 20th. The 20th anniversary was 2019, but you were
Oh.
in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't there. Got it. But, this is a far cry from my 2020 tournament appearance where I, 5 deaths a course? Got tilted at every last little thing. Wasn't too fun in interviews.
No,
Now
yeah,
if I lose, I can at least understand, yeah, that was my fault. I got mad.
no. Multiple races in this match. I mean, you had them. You just couldn't quite clutch it out. So it was a great performance.
With
Yep.
any luck, I might come back here. If I can somehow manage to pull my way through Losers Tournament long enough for KBD to get knocked down to my skill level again, I might drag him down to my level and beat him with experience.
There you go.
Well, it looks like you'll probably be going up against Crypto next.
Probably Crypto, not Zelaskalar?
Definitely not Zelasalar.
Okay.
Um,
Against
Yeah.
Crypto, I think I've got a good shot, because, what was it? During the group stage, anyone in Group 2, I pretty much just tore through them.
yeah.
Which, I'm not patting myself on the back when I say those words. Just remembering how that went.
hmm
So I think I've got a decent shot, but, Crypto could, of course, be practicing in silence, unbeknownst to all of us, and just become the next ace.
I know he's working up some. What I've seen is he's working up skips, and you got me really curious about Crypto versus Zelascalar and how we'd be seeing sort of like a non-skip specialist versus a skip specialist, and how that would go.
That would be a heck of a
Mhm.
thing, but I think at the end of the day, that would be 5-3 in favor of the non-skips. Because remember, 2 of these tracks have to be played vanilla,
True.
at least.
Yep.
But yeah, if Crypto's really been practicing in the shadows, I don't know what to expect. He could have outpaced me by the time I run into him, so I'd better be on my guard.
Yeah. Again, I think regardless, if you show a lot of the stuff you showed today, I think you can easily, do very well against a lot of the opponents that you might face. So, and win. Yeah, seriously, against a lot of them. So,
my only hope is that I don't get knocked out in round 3.
Crypto's in the chat
I'm doing real well. I didn't get knocked out in round 2. Now I gotta make it to round 3. One match at a time.
You got it.
No, Crypto, you have to practice all that much, otherwise you'll make fools of us.
yeah.
Now's
So
your chance. Find someone who's really good and pay them.
yeah.
I'm kidding. Crypto, I'm sure you're gonna do an absolutely wondrous job. And exactly like myself, if nothing else, you can put on a good show.
For sure.
I see my neighbors have now upgraded to fireworks.
Oh, nice.
That's always fun.
Wonderful.
A great way to close out this all-American match.
Yeah.
Only
good
in
luck.
America, folks.
Yeah. Good luck dealing with that, DU. And I think with that, we can wrap this up. Congrats, King Bean, and thanks, DU, for a very entertaining, closer than it looks match. And we'll see you in the lower bracket next match, DU, and King Beandip. We'll see you going against
Somebody
the winner of Goofbrush and Zelascalar. So that'll be very interesting indeed.
Yep.
I may be down, but I'm not out.
No, far from it. And so I guess, thanks for watching, everybody. I think our next match will most likely be on Sunday. Thanks for SpeedGaming for hosting and the help behind the scenes. And I guess we will see you guys next time.
All right,
Good night,
GG's.
everybody.
May the force be with you.